I figured instead of doing a curated, pre-edited video for the Nintendo Direct, I figured it'd be cool to do a live video. Do an actual, hey, I'm here in front of you guys, giving my thoughts on Friday's Nintendo Direct. And how do you know that I'm live? Boobs. That's right. Within the first minute. No, so it was just generally an idea just to kind of get my unscripted thoughts out. So you'll be getting a lot more ums and uhs. All that aside, you'll see on the left side of the screen here, we've got the actual press release of all the items that Nintendo had announced that is coming for the Switch and Switch 2. I got thoughts on this. And before I give my overall thoughts, let's go through each individual game. And we're going to start with a game not on the press release because we didn't get this in the States. That's why I had to have my good old buddy here, Mega Man. And that's the Mega Man Star Force collection, which is on the Japanese Nintendo Direct. Really excited to be getting another Nintendo collection because I think the last one was the Battle Network collection we got like 2 years ago. It was a bit of a surprise for Capcom themselves when that sold so well. I think that's like now one of the best-selling Mega Man games. Maybe actually, I think 11 probably is. Then the Battle Network, then like Mega Man 2. So there you go. This should be a sign for Capcom that hey, let's get more Mega Man stuff out. And I heard once Star Force is done, the only other collection beyond the odd games like the MS-DOS, Mega Man 1 and 3, which I want to get thrown in a collection, and like Mega Man and Bass or Rockman and Forte, both the Super Famicom and the Neo Geo Black and White Pocket versions, is Mega Man Legends. So Capcom, if you're hearing this, which you're probably not, and that's okay, get us a Legends collection that includes bonuses like those additional Mega Man games that I said. So really excited for that. As you can see here, Super Mario 40th Anniversary. I was already kind of worried with how this Direct was going to be because within the first like 5-10 minutes, they were not talking about actual playable video games. No, here's a museum that you can't get to because it's in Kyoto and you need reservations and there's no guarantee. And it's cool that these design documents are in there, but you're never going to get there. And speaking of never going to get there, and so targeting the target audience of video game players, Nintendo's sponsoring the Kyoto Marathon. I have ran marathons before. The last one was Chicago in 2024. I would like to be able to do it, but I know that a lot of these marathons, because I've tried to get in the New York City Marathon, they focus on residents. And given the xenophobic nature of the country of Japan, I'd almost guarantee they're going to further give more more importance or precedence to residents of Japan and Kyoto at large over outsiders. So great to see stuff that we're never going to have in the States. I really think they should have focused on something else or cut that down for the American audience. And then speaking of which, while we're talking about nothing for video games, the Super Mario Galaxy movie, we are given a wide shot, a zooming and moving view in Mario sleeping, from Mario sleeping, and nothing else. Very much a nothing burger, but the movie comes out in April. It's not, I mean, shoot, that's what, like 7 months, 8 months away. It's not time for an official trailer. And, oh, hey, returning individuals like the awesome, super cool Crisp Rat is coming back. Now, Anya Taylor-Joy and Keenan coming back as Princess Peach and Toad, respectively. That was a surprise. I thought I saw a rumor or something like that they weren't reprising their roles, but great to see that. And of course, no surprise to see like Bowser's returning and everything. I do wish that one more teaser reveal. I mean, obviously it's Galaxy, so why not reveal who Rosalina is going to be, or throw a curveball and reveal Wario or something? I don't know. And then what about Yoshi? Is Yoshi going to have any place for that? I'm going to guess so, because it moves on to the next announcement, the Super Mario Galaxy and Galaxy 2. It looks like it's just a port of the 3D All-Stars version of Galaxy 1. It is one of the greatest games of all time ever made. Great. And Galaxy 2, glad they figured out whatever motion control Bojazz was an issue. Also great. But $40 for each and then $70 for both of them together, either digital or physical, that's a tall order. And I know, like, my buddy Paul from 90s Handheld Gamer had mentioned, okay, if Galaxies 1 and 2 are going to be $70, doesn't that pretty much clinch the idea of the next 3D Mario being $80? And again, the 3D All-Star Collection here had Galaxy in it, and this was, what was this, 50, 60? And of course they discontinued this, and I really feel like it was a missed opportunity to just why not lump in Galaxy 2 with this and then sell this whole thing as Super Mario 3D All-Stars Plus, because that wasn't that Mario Kart 8 Plus or Mario Kart 8 Deluxe? Why not have it Super Mario 3D All-Stars Deluxe? Throw Galaxy 2 in there, because I really enjoyed the HD version and widescreen of Sunshine, even though the game's not that great, and Mario 64, which that game is great. Don't care what anybody says. So why not have that as Super Mario 3D All-Stars Deluxe? Either way, I want to say that was about it for the Mario stuff, except that's not, because we got the Mario Tennis Fever. This is actually cool. Mario Tennis Fever, and I'm not a Mario sports fan. One of the two weak points with the Nintendo Switch beyond the Pokemon output is the sports output. And excuse me, see, it's live. The sports output, it wasn't great because how they drip fed everything. Knowing that Fever is going to have 38 characters right off the start, that's fantastic. That actually has me somewhat excited for this tennis game. And I'm wondering if it's going to be going to beat the best tennis game I've ever played, Mario Tennis 64. That's not saying much, because that's the only one that I've played, because that's the only one that I've been interested in. Like I said, not a huge Mario sports fan. They also announced a new Yoshi game, and it's Yoshi and the Mysterious Book. This looks too slow for me. It doesn't look my speed. It looks like Yoshi. It's very methodical, explorative. It doesn't look like it's emphasizing the platforming element part of it. That's okay. This looks like this is a great title that's geared towards kids, which is something that Nintendo wants to do, and Yoshi is the perfect individual for that. Trust me, I'm not boring myself. That's how you know it's live. But yeah, so when Yoshi came up, though, about my partner, Jamie Owls, she was like really glued to the television set. She was super excited to see Yoshi back in his own game. And I think that's par for the course. I think I heard from another YouTuber or something about how around this time for the Switch, that's when Crafted World was announced. Great, fine, cool. So again, really happy for you Yoshi fans. That's not really my deal or my jam. That's okay. We're going to go out of order, though, and in regards to out of order from the Direct, and let's follow Nintendo's absolutely fantastic little thing here, the press release, and we're going to start talking about Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave, and this looks like some sort of sequel, either direct or maybe hundreds of years afterwards, of this gem, Fire Emblem Three Houses, only because of that stinger end where it features Sothis and the idea of her still being on the throne and looking a bit older, and just having that whole... I mean, this was an absolutely fantastic game. I like the Persona style of gameplay. Maybe that's not quite evergreen to how the OG Fire Emblems were, not even like Awakening or Engage, but I like that Persona style. I'm hoping it keeps it, and there was a lot of the artifacts and weapons from these three. Really makes me wonder if, how, whom the descendants are, and like, okay, so there were five different possibilities of this ending, because you had two through her, you had one from each of them, and then you had the DLC. So what's canon, or is this a timeline divergent moment like Ocarina of Time? Don't know, not sure. Either way, really cool to see that. I did miss the two amiibo figures for Mario Galaxy 2, that being Mario with a star and Mario, and of course Rosalina with the storybook. I think those are cool. I will be picking them up because I'm an idiot and I like toys. Yep, I'm an adult that likes toys. I'm not going to be getting the Rosalina storybook, but I know my partner and my sister-in-law Storm both expressed interest in that, so I think by proxy I'll end up getting it. Let's talk about, up next, this gal. Right here, Samus, and we're going to have a discussion about Metroid 4 Beyond. I didn't like this trailer. I didn't like this last trailer. Why does Samus need a motorcycle? Is she not badass enough? I really feel like they're trying to be like, okay, how much more of a badass can Samus be? Let's give her a motorcycle. There you go. And she's one of the few of the Nintendo characters that didn't have a motorcycle at that point, because Mario's got a motorcycle in Mario Kart, Link's got one in Mario Kart as well as in Breath of the Wild, and technically I guess Animal Crossing, Splatoon, and all of them have motorcycles. Technically Kirby's got one because when he jumps on Wheelie it becomes like a motorcycle thing. And so poor Samus, she was left out. Well, nope, Samus, you are in with the motorcycle gang here, with the Hell's Angels as they were, or what would they be? Iwata's Angels? I don't know. So I felt like that was try hard or trying too hard there. But I'm an idiot. I will be getting this game, and I say I'm an idiot because I will be getting the amiibo because again it's Samus. Love the Metroid series. At the very least, I'm getting the one without her on, Viola. I think that's the name of the motorcycle. Really excited just for the game. And we all figured that the release date was going to be coming out for this, as well as Age of Imprisonment. And I have nothing to say about Age of Imprisonment because I'm not excited for Age of Imprisonment. I do not like the Russo-Muso style of games. Same thing with the Dynasty Warriors Origins. Not worried about that. That is no slight on anybody here who is a fan of the Muso series Dynasty Warrior games. They're just not my cup of tea. I have no interest. I like the story elements of Tears of the Kingdom, but I won't be playing it because that gameplay loop is just simply not for me. But so Metroid Prime 1 through 3 visual retrospective. I already got my book pre-ordered because again I'm an idiot. I have to have the Metroid stuff. I'd always wanted a Metroid art book, so that's what I feel like this is. Although I know the collector's edition of Dread came with an art book for Metroids 1 through 5, as well as I'm pointing at this. No, I meant Other M. So it's got some art to it, but this visual retrospective looks a lot more comprehensive. So really excited to get that. I'm not worried, by the way, about getting Prime 2 and Prime 3. Most of the people jumping into Prime 4 could probably do so without playing 1 through 3, especially because the villain, Sylux, appears to be a villain from Metroid Prime Hunters, which is a DS demo and DS main game. Let's talk about... skip Pokemon for a second. We're going to be talking about the DLC for this guy, DK Bonanza. I was like a lot of the individuals whom had thought that Mario Kart World was going to be getting DLC. So I'm a little surprised that DK Bonanza got DLC over Mario Kart World. Not interested in this. I love the look of going back to the DK Island, but I'm not interested in this because it looks like the island's literally shrunk down. When I think of Donkey Kong Country 1, where they show DK exploring, it's like you click in an area and then that expands into a larger area, and then each of the levels sort of expand from there. This looks really shrunk down, and it's a roguelite. I feel like this is how tower defense stuff was a couple years ago with Japan, and then whatever else. I'm trying to remember what else. Some of these these not JRPGs, Japan sort of led fads, and I feel like roguelike now is a big fad, just in general, and especially in Japan. I'm good. I already 100%ed this, and it was an absolute fantastic experience. This is in the running for a game of the year for me, probably within my top 5. I don't know. That's going to be a good point. Good question. But yeah, I'm not worried about the roguelike with that, and just and then having to do the runs and rerunning and all that. I want to save that roguelike experience for another game. Fudge it. We'll talk about it. It's not listed on this direct yet. Hades 2. This I am genuinely excited for, because the first one was absolutely fantastic. This one looks like it's more of the same. When I played it during the Nintendo experience in Dallas a few months ago, it played just like Hades 1. No muss, fuss, lag, or anything like that. Looks like that the game is fully on cartridge for the Switch 2. That is how I will be picking it up because of that. Not much to say regarding that. Let's talk about these Pokemon games. I don't care about Pokemon. There you go. Moving on to the 2 new amiibos. We got Kirby Air Riders. No, let's jump back into Pokemon for a second. I'm not into Animal Crossing, and I'm not as much into Pokemon, with the exception of Legends. Pokopia, I feel like this might be 2026's Animal Crossing supplement until we get a fully fledged version of Animal Crossing in 26 and 27, and I could be absolutely wrong about that, especially because of the fact that we're getting Mario Kart this year and Kirby Air Riders this year, and Sakurai himself had even said, oh hey, Nintendo, aren't you worried about 2 racing games coming? Nope, no, okay. So, that said, it's not anything that I think can be a thing that will either deter or delay Animal Crossing, but it might. I don't know. It's something to think about. And bold move, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off regarding DLC for a game that's not even released, that being Legends. Pokemon Legends ZA. I probably will pick this up when it's on a Woot sale. Physical copies on Woot sale, like months down in the future. I'm not worried about playing this. Again, I did enjoy Pokemon Legends Arceus, whatever you want to call it. I probably will. This will probably be like the 3rd Pokemon game that I played. Tried Scarlet, couldn't play Scarlet on Switch. It was a garbage game due to all the frame rate issues. I should probably get back into it on the Switch too. Back to the two new amiibos for Kirby Air Riders, as well as the fact that, hey, here's a second Direct. Not surprised about a second Direct, because Sakurai, look at Smash. How many Directs he had for Smash. Although with Smash, the hype was there. I don't know if the hype is there for Kirby Air Riders. Although, like my buddies, Rad Bash Gaming and Surgeman X, they love Kirby Air Riders. I think one of them broke off an engagement because of it. So RIP their hearts, but maybe the hearts are in the right place, and that's with Kirby Air Riders. So there you go. No surprise that Super Mario Bros. Wonder got a Switch 2 edition. One of the things, one of my buddies, Zoo from flipping the Switch or Twitch, I think he slightly changed the branding of his channel. That was already included within the bounds of like Super Mario Brothers 3 years and years and years ago. Some of the player versus stuff. I really feel like that stuff should have already been included within it as just maybe an update. Maybe it might be. Probably won't. I hope it's part of the expansion pack Bojazz that you get with how you get DLC and everything. I hope they throw that in. To that end, getting a talking flower. That's going to scare the shit out of me. Let's be honest. If I pick that up, especially the fact that it would turn on whenever it would, imagine like 3 a.m. Imagine at 3 a.m. I'm using the bathroom or something, taking a piss, and all of a sudden the talking flower says, "I can see you over there. You better jump to miss the Goomba," or some shit like that. I'm going to jump, but not to avoid the Goomba. That piss is going to get everywhere. So no talking flower for me. I do like the merchandising aspect of this, though I would prefer they focus more on doing PVCs with partners like First Four Figures. As you can tell if you see my room tours, I love the First Four Figures stuff. I've only had one rough figure with First Four Figures, and that was the Gravity Suit Samus, where the non-gun arm was kind of falling off. Okay, diatribes aside, talking flower, not worried about that. Already talked about Yoshi in the Mysterious Book. Tamagotchi Life, Living the Dream. Figured that would get a release date announcement. Again, not a specific date was provided, just spring 2026. Not interested in that. Never really got into Tamagotchi life. It's not my thing. Not crapping on anybody that enjoys this series, because, I mean, apparently it's big. Like, it's big. It was kind of like Bayonetta when she got revealed and everybody was losing their minds. Jason the 13th and I were kind of like, we'd never heard of Bayonetta before. Like, who is that? And same thing with Joker when he was announced for Smash the night of the Video Game Awards, literally the eve of these Super Smash Ultimate release date. And that was, I remember, because Jason the 13th, my best friend Mobster, and I were in line literally in GameStop to pick up our copies for their midnight release, and we were kind of watching the thing in the background. Anyway, yeah, just not for me. One of the oddest inclusions is Virtual Boy for Nintendo Classics. The idea that they're willing to embrace their biggest failure, that's cool, especially the fact that they're willing to make so much money from it. The fact that they've got the $100 Disney/Nintendo form of it, and they got the Labo Temu form of it via the cardboard box, that's a take. That was certainly something. I don't agree with it. I would like to play these games only because I've never played a Virtual Boy game in my life. I think if I probably had to get one of these, I'd probably get the cardboard box one, just because what the hell am I going to do with a Virtual Boy standee? I mean, I'm a Nintendo product fan. Notice I'm saying Nintendo product fan, not saying I'm a fan of the corporation, because they made some really shitty decisions, just like Sony and Microsoft and so many of the others have. I'm a Nintendo product fan, but what am I going to do? Where am I going to put that Virtual Boy standee? I don't know. Whatever. A lot of these are worth playing. I think heard one of my buddies say Tolero Boxer was worth playing. So that might be something to check out. Second to last announced was Resident Evil Requiem, along with Resident Evil 7 and 8 coming. No surprise regarding 7 and 8. Figured ports of those would be announced. What's cool is Requiem, Resident Evil 9, is coming the same day as all of the major console ones. This is a game that, again, I love Resident Evil insofar as I'm a tertiary fan. I don't play the series because the gameplay loop, I don't really enjoy it as much, but my partner Jamie Owls loves them, so like I feel like because she loves them, I love them, and because I love her, I know, corny shit right there, but I just think the overall aesthetic, the story that's being told, the general gameplay loops, and what Capcom did and what Resident Evil did for Capcom, I love the whole history of it, and I love the fans for Resident Evil, because I'm knocking on wood, I feel like Resident Evil fans are some of the lesser of the toxic fan base. I don't know why that is. Maybe it's like metal. So I've seen some heavy metal fans, some heavy metal fans of certain bands or genres be like the least toxic. So I like that. I like the fact that that's a whole thing. I like everything with Resident Evil. It's just gameplay wise, it's weird. I don't really enjoy playing it myself. So cool that Nintendo gets it, and it makes me wonder if/when 2 through 4 remakes are going to be coming. I mean, that's got to be a thing, right? Beyond that, let's see. I talked about Hades 2, Suika Game Planet. That's that drumming game. I never really got into that. That's not really like, and as I'm scanning here, flipping through, probably giving you guys a headache. Never really got into that sort of a game or anything. So that's not me, and that's okay. Same thing with Monster Hunter Stories 3 Twisted Reflections. This just looks, the aesthetic of it looks so much like Breath of the Wild. This doesn't interest me. I've heard Stories 1 and 2 had a even more so like chibi aesthetic, so I guess if they're growing up that way, that's kind of cool. The fact that it's more RPG based versus the action hunt base that like the Rise and Worlds is, it's kind of cool. Though that being said, I'm surprised But maybe I'm not surprised. Monster Hunter Worlds, is that the newest one? Monster Hunter Wilds, that's it. Monster Hunter Wilds. World is not like years and years ago, but years ago, I think on the PS4, one of the breakout hits for Monster Hunter here in North America. Monster Hunter was I think always big in Japan. Okay, enough history lesson that I may or may not be right on because I haven't played a lot of Monster Hunter. Surprised that Monster Hunter Wilds didn't get announced for the Switch 2, but maybe I'm not because they still need to work out so many issues with Wilds on PC and the PS5, more on the PC side, I've heard. Stormlancers actually looks kind of cool, although, again, it's another roguelike. Fatal Frame 2, isn't this a remake of a remake? Just call it Jamie Owl's Eyes just because of the... what is it, like that horror aspect? Again, that doesn't interest me. Power Wash Simulator 2, this is another one that doesn't interest me. I know it's like a cozy game because, I don't know, if I want to clean stuff, like, I'll be a good partner in my household and I'll clean stuff. I can do laundry, I can wipe my tables down, I can do the dishes, take care of the pets. I've got stuff that I can clean at home. So I'll take that experience in real life. And I'm probably way undercutting the actual experience and the minutia with Power Wash Simulator 2. Let me know in the comments section below if that's the case, or don't. Stardew Valley, speaking of the comfort zone, kind of cool that this is actually getting a Switch 2 edition, especially since I have a physical copy of 1, and you can upgrade from 1 with a free upgrade pack. So that's pretty cool. Dragon Quest VII Reimagined. Let's have a conversation about Dragon Quest VII. I liked it fine. I felt like the original Dragon Quest VII, keeping in mind, I did not play the original on the PS1. I played the 3DS remaster, where they also had a quality of life stuff up to and including reducing the amount of time that the intro dungeon is, or the intro area. This is one of the weaker Dragon Quest games. I know why they remade this. Remade this, reimagined it, because this is a very, very popular title in Japan. But I still think it's a weaker title in the States. It's not that great. It's not that great compared to the likes of Dragon Quest VIII. So Square Enix, if you would have told me that you were remaking Dragon Quest VIII, I would have been all on board because the 3DS version of that is hot ass. Because the 3DS is hot ass. I would have loved to get a remake of Dragon Quest VIII on a fully fledged handheld, but I'm the aesthetic style for Dragon Quest VII is, I felt like it was very faithful to the original, and especially, really even like the remaster on the 3DS. So I like it because it's solid for that. But just I'm not excited about that. But I'm an idiot, and I'm going to be picking up the Switch 1 copy because it's cool. It's coming to the Switch 1, Switch 2 game key card, and PS5. I'm probably going to do what I did with Dragon Quest 3, get the digital version on the PS5 and get the physical on the Switch. I'm probably going to do that for... Am I saying I'm going to triple dip? No, I'm double dipping. I might double dip. Get the physical for the Switch 1 for Dragon Quest 7, because I have a physical Switch collection of Dragon Quest games and the digital on the PS5. I think that's what I'm saying I'm going to do. I think that's what I'm going to do for Dragon Quest 7 Reimagined. Danganronpa 2v2 or 2x2. I heard this was a controversial one because don't you need knowledge of the first Danganronpa game to understand Danganronpa 2? And the idea that it has a new scenario, new victims, culprits. I haven't played any of the 1 through 3. I have the Switch collection. Maybe I'm waiting until I get older and my reflexes go to crap to play a lot of these graphic novel games. Maybe that's doing a disservice for Danganronpa. I think it is. But I don't know why we need a remaster of it, remake. Papucom. I really can't even remember. Oh no, this is essentially Split Fiction, but for the Switch. That's essentially Papucom. Okay. Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade. I figured this would appear and get a release date. I think we got announced that the fact that The second and third remake games are coming for the Switch 2. Cool, great. Still going to be playing these on my PS5. And again, I'm not really. I have no reason to replay this. I played Remake once. Once was enough. Not sure why we got another trailer for the Legacy Collection when this was already like a thing, and they didn't announce anything new. Overcooked 2 Switch 2 edition. Again, it's another game. Switch 2 version. One Piece Pirate Warriors 4. I don't follow the animes of One Piece, Naruto, or what's the, is this the Straw Hat? Yeah, that's the Straw Hat game. Digimon. I don't follow that, so I'm not worried about it. Linked Banner of the Spark. Again, this is another one that I'm not really that worried about. Don't really see playing. Same thing with Dinkum. Human Fall Flat. Always cool to get to see the indies games get these Switch 2 versions. But I hadn't played Human Fall Flat really at all. And then, of course, you got ports for EA Sports, FC 26, Little Nightmares 3, Persona 3 Reload, Legos Voyagers, Disgaea 7 Complete, Dragon Quest 1 and 2, Virtual Fighter 5, 2 and 2 Point Museum. So, if we rewind, let's rewind on this for a second. And the big question I have on this is, what the hell was new on this? Because all we got were ports, we got remakes, and Switch 2 versions, which is what is that? That's kind of like a remaster or an update or something like that. I'm looking at this. I think 2 Point Museum isn't new. This 2 Point is a port. So is Virtual Fighter 5, Dragon Quest 1 and 2. That's already been. Oh, and that's another thing. Games that have already been announced and featured. This has already been announced. This is Disgaea 7 Complete. I think that actually is a new game, but this has already been announced. Lego Voyagers. I think that's already been announced. The highlight reel. I'm kind of disappointed. Highlight reel. Disappointed that Trails in the Sky First Chapter Remake wasn't announced, especially or restated. Surprised that wasn't listed or anything like that, because of the fact that, like, come on, it's coming out this Friday. Hey, what's up, Paul? 90s Handheld Gamer. Always good to see you. I did mention you regarding one of your things that you had put on Twitter a few minutes ago. So definitely check out my buddy 90s Handheld Gamer. Love his content. Really good, up-to-date Switch and Switch 2 information. Getting back to my discussion about ports, restates, remasters, essentially nothing new. Little Nightmares 3, we already knew about that. EA Sports already knew about that. Human Fall Flat Switch 2 edition. Dinkum. I think Dinkum was an evergreen new thing. I think Linked Banner of the Spark was new, so that's 2 new things. One Piece, so it's a Switch 2 edition. That's not new. Overcooked, that's definitely not new. That's a Switch 2 version. This definitely wasn't new. They've already covered the Legacy Mortal Kombat. Dear God, Final Fantasy VII Remake is not new. Popucom, that is new. So we count that. Danganronpa is a remake. That's not new. Dynasty Warriors Origins. I thought I heard that this was a remake. I really don't want to speak about something that I don't know enough about, but I want to say that it's either a remake or something like that. But this was already announced. Dragon Quest 7 is a remake. That's not new. Stardew Valley, Switch 2 edition. Power Wash Simulator 2. This was already an entity elsewhere. Fatal Frame remake. It's a remake of a remake. Stormlancers. I want to say Stormlancers was new. Paul from 90s Handheld Gamer stating that it was a solid direct. There's no denying Nintendo's greed after this direct. Oh, we got to talk about that. We got to talk about Nintendo's greed. But we'll get to that. Oh, that's a good topic. Good thing to talk about, Paul. We're gonna be hitting that. Getting back, Stormlancers. As I mentioned, that was a new one. Monster Hunter Stories 3. That was already shown before on the third-party direct. Late July. Suika Game Planet, I want to say that this was a new one, so we're going to be counting that. Hades 2, that's not new. That's already been announced. Resident Evil Requiem, it's not new. That was already announced on other systems. Virtual Boy, obviously this isn't new. This is a port. Mario Tennis Fever. I'm going to hold my finger like this. If I know my ASL, this means 6, 6, 7, 8, 9, I think. So like 6. Oh, okay, we'll go like that. 6. So Mario Tennis Fever. Yeah, that is new. Tamagotchi Life, that's not new. Yoshi and the Mysterious Book, that's 7. That is a new game. The Talking Flower, come on, that's not a game. That doesn't count. Switch 2 edition of Super Mario Wonder, no. Age of Imprisonment, got a date, that's not new. Amiibos for Air Riders, not new. DLC for Pokemon Legends, come on, not new. The DLC for DK Bonanza, not new, because that's DLC for an existing game. Pokopia, that is new. That is the 8th new game listed, Pokemon Pokopia. The Metroid Prime 1 through 3 visual retrospective, that's not a new game, and this book was already announced and is coming out at the end of October. I think this is supposed to come out in like June, end of June or something like that, but they pushed it back, and I think they want this to come out in conjunction with the December 4th release date of Metroid Prime 4. Those joining, I'm not doing gang signs. This is, my ASL is correct, I'm doing the number 8 because there are 8 releases so far listed on the Metroid Direct. Oh, I wish. On the Nintendo Direct on this past Friday. The date for the Amiibo figures are new, but again, they're not games, doesn't count. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond doesn't count, already announced. Rosalina Storybook, but it's a product. It's not a video game, doesn't count. Same thing with the Amiibo figures. Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 doesn't count because those are ports or remasters. They're not wholly new games. Fire Emblems, Fortune Weave, that is a new game. That's 9. And Mario Galaxy Movie is not a new... excuse me. That's not a video game. 9 new games. Think about that. 60 minutes. We got 60 minutes and 9 new games. I could say, just based on that alone, my thought on this Nintendo Direct is it was a C until the Fire Emblem reveal at the end. Then it became a C+. Because you got 60 minutes, 20 minutes of a Mario Direct, and 40 minutes of Nintendo content, and we only got 9 new games. And I just don't feel like there was a lot. For first party stuff, is a new Fire Emblem hype, considering the Fire Emblem series, it sells about 1 to 3, 1 to 5 million per new title. Is a new Yoshi game hype? It can be for specific audiences. The new Yoshi games don't even sell Luigi's Mansion 3 levels, and that sold a dozen level of games. Saying hey to my buddy Zoo joining. Great, more shit to buy. Merch company now. He makes an excellent point. And I made Zoo. I don't know if you're just joining us now, but I made reference to your excellent conversation that you had with Phil 1UPS Collects. Again, flipping the Switch and Phil 1UPS Collects. Make sure you check out their channels on YouTube here. They're great guys and they make great content. Also, a huge shout out to my buddy Jay from Cold Nights Gaming's. I wasn't going to let him get away because I often associate him with those crew as well because they're great guys. Appreciate everything that they've done for me, including me on a lot of conversations. So Jay from Cold Nights Gaming as well. Make sure you check their YouTube channels out if you haven't had a chance. Really good, thought-provoking content. I was talking saying how Zoo mentioned in that conversation, I think it was yesterday or the day before, about the additional modes, like the battle modes, being added to the Switch 2 edition of the Super Mario Brothers Wonder, when that stuff was already included in Super Mario Brothers 3, as well as the All-Stars version of Super Mario Brothers 3. And I'd argue the All-Stars version of Super Mario Brothers 3, that battle mode, was fire. I loved that because it was kind of like a cross between the NES version of that Mario Brothers fight battle mode, but also there was like you were like big size, like you already took the super mushroom, so there's a little bit more strategy. But yeah, obviously there's going to be more detail to the Super Mario Brothers Wonder battle mode, obviously, as you could tell. But still, I mean, yeah. Anyway, so I stand by my thing here where it's a C+, because 9 announcements. 9. That's all that we got in this Direct. And I don't know how on fire these Nintendo announcements were. If you think about the first year with the Nintendo Switch, the Switch 1, they had to have the fire coming off the Wii U and little stopgaps like the living off the fumes of the 3DS and the NES Mini and the SNES Mini. These are fumes. They're living off the fumes to be able to try and get their gameplay going. But it's like, that said, that's why we had fire content like Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey, and I was going to say Xenoblade Chronicles 2, but maybe that was 2018. I thought that was 2017, but I mean, fire releases like that. I think if Xenoblade Chronicles 2 was 2018, it was like the beginning of 18. Guys, correct me in the chat below. Either way, it's a thing where we did get DK Bonanza and we did get Mario Kart World, but compare that with you got what is that, the Mega Drive basketball game last month, and then let's see, Welcome Tour. So four releases for the Switch 2. Wholly new titles, and 2 of them are duds. That is not encouraging. Zoo says, yeah, the Nintendo Psychosis is back. It could be that. It could also be overconfident Nintendo, the Nintendo that came off of the Wii era. I feel like Chicken Tonight. No. Whenever I say that with my partner, Jamie Owls, she goes, I fill her sentence, say Chicken Tonight. If you're old like me, you'll know that from the awful, hilariously bad 90s commercials. No, I feel like this is greedy Nintendo. This is the Nintendo that wants to nickel and dime, as evidenced by the $85 Switch 2 controller, the $40 Amiibos, $30 and $40 Amiibos, and the $100 Virtual Console thing. Okay, if you offer 2 modes with that, you got crap cardboard, you got Temu cardboard Virtual Console, and you had the actual Virtual Console headset compatible with the Switch 2. If that Switch 2 Virtual Console was off on its own, where it could connect to the Switch or Switch 2 and download the games, and you could play the Virtual Console games off of the Switch 2 and could just use the control, the Switch 2 controller as its own thing, then it'd be worth it. We wouldn't need the Switch console. Maybe connect once, and then you could just use the actual handheld. Maybe be worth it. More so if it was its own mini console thing where all 14 of the games were on the headset. It is not. So I'm just, it kills me. Yep, agreed. Absolutely agree with you, Paul. The Welcome Tour should have been free. Zoo says we had Zelda, Mario, Splatoon, Mario Kart within the first year. Zeno for the enthusiast, year 1. Absolutely good points. Dragon Drive should have been $10. I don't agree with that, Zoo. I don't agree. Dragon Drive should have been $0. Should have been a free game, given the state that it's in. Or it really feels. I've heard people say that it's like its own. It feels like it's like some sort of beta game that Nintendo was playing with, but decided to, maybe we're not going to make a full game with it. But Nintendo, Sakaguchi said, you know what? Not Sakaguchi. What am I smoking? The president of Nintendo, because I'm not going to try and make up a name here because I can't think of it off the top of my head, it said, you know what, we can try and sell this. We'll salvage it. $20. It should have been $0 or $40 as its fully fledged full part. I agree with Paul. The DK Bonanza DLC should have been free too, or $10, $20 for that. No. Especially since DK Bonanza was $70. DK Bonanza was worth the $70 experience because the 20 to 25 hours it took me from the beginning of it to the end credits was fantastic. And then the 20 hours to 100% it from there was great. It was worth $70. But considering the very niche, the very niche gameplay that DLC is, for it being roguelike or roguelite, no, not interested. Hey, Team Ledonite, you said curious to hear my opinion on Pokemon Legends Z to A DLC before the main game is even released. Is it really DLC or cut content sold for a premium? So I was mentioning a little bit before, don't rewind. Don't feel like you have to rewind because this is going to be obviously this will post. And if y'all are bored and you want to listen to this from the beginning, because I went through each of the individual games, my thoughts on the, and thanks, Paul, Furukawa. The president of Nintendo, really appreciate the heads up on that. Did not want to speak out of my ass there. My thoughts on the DLC. It's like, hey, here's DLC coming. If I'm looking at it objectively, it's just Nintendo reassuring Pokemon fans that more is coming. My dinosaur brain is trying to tell myself that they announced DLC before Scarlet and Violet was released. I could absolutely be wrong on that. So I feel like they're just continuing the trend. My cynical brain is telling me, like, why are you announcing DLC for a game that's not even out yet? It makes them seem like, oh, hey, let's farm out more money out of the Pokemon people because it's the Swedish bear. It is the sweetest berry, the Pokemon fan. As evidenced by so many people buying Scarlet and Violet when they were hot messes, especially when they first released. I don't like it. I whether or not it's actual premium content cut from it and sold as a premium, I couldn't say. I could be giving Nintendo the benefit of the doubt. But again, my cynical side says, I could see them, if it was any other company, like if this was EA or Ubisoft, yes. But Nintendo, I would give more the benefit of the doubt, though maybe that's, Doug Bowser, current NOA president, he was from EA, and he is towing the line of Furukawa. Thank you for the course correction. Team Ledonite's advising that the Scarlet and Violet DLC was announced a year after the main game's release, not prior to it, year after. Thank you. Always appreciate the kind corrections. Always appreciate that, because I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. Little Office reference for you guys. Corny jokes aside, yeah, I could say Nintendo last 5 years ago and beyond, this was meant to be actual DLC extra content in addition to a fun game, but now I don't know. I'm not as comforted for that, especially with something like Smash Brothers, where Smash Brothers Ultimate, the whole game for that, it's excellent, but then you got the big exception for that being all the characters that they added. It was $5 a character, and they added 10 characters, and I'm the idiot, and of course I'm going to buy all the characters because I both passes, because as you can see, I'm a big Smash Brothers nut. Though Good Guy Nintendo had a thing where they added all the characters for all the sports games. So sports games, but I don't think that was Good Guy Nintendo. I think that was, hey, these games were incomplete. We got the game engine. Let's at least release these games, and then we'll drip feed these like we're gonna be like Good Guy Nintendo, and hey, battle passes for free. Well, we're gonna be adding in Daisy and Diddy Kong, and then it'll be. But it just ultimately means the game cartridges themselves. Let's pretend this is a Switch 1 sports game, because I don't have any of them. The Switch 1 sports games are not full carts on games, so full games on carts, so which I'm a big proponent of. And that said, just like the third-party Direct, end of July, this featured more game key cards. That's no surprise. As I was kind of mentioning earlier regarding Dragon Quest VII, I'm going to be picking up the Switch 1 edition, physical edition of Switch 1, and probably digitally on the PS5. Because I feel like that's like the best way to play these Dragon Quest games. Playing them portably is nice, but I'm not as worried about that. But yeah, my overall thoughts gonna be a C+. 9 new games, whole bunch of ports, Switch 1 editions, remasters, remakes. No mas. Don't like that. I don't like the fact that we're not getting new Switch 2 content. Because, I mean, let's think, and I know that Nintendo has an audience of about 150 million Switch 1s, so they have to go through the motions of showing the games that they're releasing for the Switch 1, and they're trying to bridge the gap between 1 and 2. I get that, but I feel like I'm not getting enough unique first-party Switch 1 content that's going to be worth my time. And like, I got Mario Kart World, I got DK Bonanza, and then what? Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave? I like Yoshi, the new Yoshi game. Those are in 2026. Metroid Prime 4 is very, 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 very playable on the Switch 1. I know it because I played it at the Switch 2 experience. So yeah, I played the 120 frames per second Switch 2 one, but that's at 1080p. The Switch 1 is 1080p, but 60 frames per second. I don't want to talk out of my butt, because what they had at the Switch 2 experience was 120 frames per second, but 1080p. So you got to imagine the experience that we had with Metroid Prime 1, the remaster, got to be the same thing, except Metroid Prime 4. Mentioning here, the Paul said the only game keycard that seems at least a bit consumer friendly is FF7 Remake, and I'd imagine Star Wars Outlaws. Or Star Wars Outlaws is one of those where they did not develop it with the Switch 2 in mind, so they had to take advantage of the increased speed that came with the game keycard. I'm assuming that's the same thing with the Final Fantasy VII Remake, and especially the fact that it won't fit on a game cartridge that's 64 gigs, because the game key card for Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate, I think it's like 85 gigabytes or something. Zoo is saying, remember when Zelda used to put an entire second quest in their games? Dragon Quest III literally gave you second game crammed in, and we kind of missed that era. And then of course 90s handheld gamer, not only with the 85 gigabytes, but also $40 for Remake. But I would not have paid more. I'm not going to get Remake again because I don't want to play that again. But if I wanted to play it, I would not have paid more than $40. So I think that's fair. And I will be picking up Bravely Default 1 on the Switch 2 digitally, not a game keycard. I will not buy something that I don't support. But I'll pick up the Bravely Default 1 not demo, what am I smoking? The full game digitally when that goes on sale, so that I can play, because I've never played Bravely Default 1. I played 2. Absolutely fantastic experience. Zeus saying Dragon Quest 2, where the first game's map was a tiny corner of Dragon Quest 2's map. I remember that. And it's so funny how, like, I remember playing 2, where the lands there, it kind of felt like where the kings and stuff, were they getting like lazy or something? Where take a quick water break. They were like getting lazy or something like that, where they were kind of, I got that kind of sense where Tantajal, they were like, oh, it's they're riding on, they're coasting on the fumes that were the lineage of the king at that time, because that king was not what Hero was from 1. Hero took the maiden from 1 and went to other lands, and hence that's where the hero from 2 and his cousins come from 2, if I'm remembering that right. So going back to that small map on 2, looks like I was flicking you guys off. So nope, sorry. Going back to the original map from 1, that was a cool nod. And Zelda 2 had that. Zelda 2 had where you could go down to the shrinked map of 1. I love that kind of stuff. I miss it. Paul says, and also comes with some goodies like the Magic the Gathering card. I mean, I'm probably going to bring this in frame. Y'all know I'm all about the Magic the Gathering Final Fantasy cards. I don't play the game. I don't play Magic, but I love the art on the Magic stuff. I mean, just God, look at all that. Such a, as evidenced here, guys, you know I'm a Final Fantasy nerd. Dragon Quest nerd, Square Enix stuff. I love it. For the products, I love the products from Square Enix. Sometimes I don't really love the company from some of the shenanigans that it does. Probably squandering all my chances of getting review copies of stuff for Square Enix and Nintendo. But yeah, I gotta keep it real. Yeah. So all in all, again, I think I've said this a million times now, C+ Direct. Not really all that excited about what's coming. My thought on this was, there's still a lot of really great games coming, like in the immediate future and then in the not so immediate future. So like that's what really excites me. I could be all gloom and doom about the state of things, all like in the world and in video games, like because there's a lot to be gloom and doom about. But I'm going to go half glass full. Trails in the Sky remake. Oh my God, that's coming Friday. I am taking the day off of work, half day, sort of, kind of. I'm not going to stream it because I'm going to be. I don't know if I should stream Trails. Because I don't stream. I have the personality. I'm streaming right now, but I'm streaming because I've got. I'm talking about games. When it comes to talking during games, I have the personality of a stump. I literally don't talk. I don't really say anything because I'm just immersed in the game. I'm in the game. I'm not saying anything. I'm just so like I'm probably not gonna. I'm probably not gonna stream it or anything. Maybe I might stream some thoughts or stray thoughts or anything. Paul had asked what I'm getting the Trails game on. So yeah. When it comes to Trails, I don't know if I've come full circle to weeb status. No, because weeb status means that, like, okay, no, maybe I am a weeb because Estelle is Bestel. Okay, full judgment. Judge me in the comments section. I'm triple dipping on this. I'm not getting anything digital. I am getting the physical of the Switch 1. I snagged a collector's edition because I think they only had 1,000 of those. Huge thanks to Feral Inferno for letting me know when that dropped. Feral Inferno's content, he more so does live streaming stuff of some classic games. Good buddy of mine, always appreciate his inclusion on stuff. Yeah, that's the third one. Physical copy of the PS5 because that's how I'm going to play Trails in the Sky because I did the demo on the PS5. I've been playing on the Switch and then Steam. I did the Trails in the Sky trilogy, the OG on my Steam Deck, and then Trails Cold Steel 1 and 2 on Steam Deck, and then everything else on my Switch 1. And then, of course, I'm playing them backwards compatible. The Trails in the Sky, I got to have the best HD, 4K, no load time. I have to have the best premium experience. That has to be on the PS5. And Paul says, hey, if you're a big fan of the series, nothing wrong with that. Well, I appreciate it. Yeah. And I'm going to be even worse with second chapter if/when that gets announced. I know I think they said that they're working on it. I'm really scared because old hats of the Trails in the Sky series here in the States know that it was, I think, the first one came out in PC in 2006, then it got translated, and then the second one, the immediate sequel, didn't come out for like 8 years or some crazy stuff like that. So the second chapter is my favorite in the entire series of Trails. It is probably, so I've played about 60 to 80. I think I'm up to 80, maybe 90 now after this year, JRPGs, and including the entirety of Trails, Ys, Dragon Quest, Final Fantasy, old classics like Suikoden, a few other Super Nintendo games, the entirety of the Kingdom Hearts series. Trails in the Sky second chapter it's in the top 5 of my top JRPGs of all time. Second chapter is that good. So I'm mentioning that because I'm weeping out and getting the physicals of the Switch and PS5 for the Trail second chapter, and if I can get a collector's copy of that, I will be doing that. Paul mentions that he's getting the Switch 1 copy and paying the $1 upgrade to Switch 2. I might even just pay the buck because, shit, it's $1. If I decide to break open that copy and my physical for that, which I haven't done. I've got physicals of all the Trails series on the Switch. I haven't broken them open because I'm an idiot and I buy digital. That's how I've been playing digitally with the Trails. I've got the physical and then I've got the digital, knowing that VGP gets reprints and the value's just probably plummeted. Don't care. Love the series. Gotta have physical copies. Yeah. Might end up getting because it's $1. I understand money is tight and everything like that. My partner and I are dinks, dual income, no kids. So this is the thing where video games are my number one hobby. They are my partner Jamie Owl's number 2 hobby. Her number 1 hobby is books, which is awesome. Fully support her on that. Never ever do I criticize her for expanding her little. What am I smoking? That seems pejorative. The pandering, pejorative, whatever. Her library of books never will. I'll never shame her for all the books that she has because it could be even more. Paul says, "Well, you're a super Mega Man fan." Yeah, which is why I was a little pissed that the American version of the Direct didn't make any mention of Star Force, Mega Man Star Force being announced, the collection, which I had no idea until after the fact. I will be picking that up because that's, again, another one of the Mega Man games. Which means that, I mentioned this a little earlier, I'm repeating myself here, but the last physical collection, or the last collection of Mega Man games that hasn't been announced is the Legends ones. 1, 2, Misadventures of Tron Bonne, and come on, Capcom. Give it to Digital Deluxe. Digital Deluxe, or what's the Digital Eclipse? That's it, Digital Eclipse. Give it to Digital Eclipse about finishing Mega Man Legends 3. It looked like it was pretty far along on the 3DS. Include that in the Legends collection. And I see now Paul meant that I'm a super Mega fan. I thought he said, well, wow, you're a super Mega Man fan. I'm nearsighted. As you guys could probably tell, reading it off a small screen. Yeah, I'm a large fan of the Trails series. I blame David Vincent, Emily from Orbalology, and Justin from Just the Gems. Those 3 got me into Trails like a year or 2 ago. Dude, I went through a layoff a year or 2 ago, and I was playing Cold Steel 1 and 2. That's what got me into the series, and it was an awesome way to get my mind off of a lot of very, very real worries while I was job hunting, and it helped me out so much. So I have a huge fondness for Cold Steel's 1 and 2, as well as just the series as a whole. So yeah, I don't want to. I'm a big fan of Trails, but I don't want to be like one of those assholes that's like, oh, you have to play it in this one, and no, just play the game, enjoy the game. The Trails in the Sky First Chapter Remake coming Friday is the perfect opportunity to jump in. It starts. The battles are action RPG-esque, very light on it, kind of like Metaphor in that way, but a little bit more developed. And then it moves into turn-based. All boss battles are turn-based. It's a great it's a great battle system. It's very similar to how the Trails Through Daybreak games were, newest series, but all the minutiae, all the great development from the first one, can't go wrong. The Direct, we're going to segue it back to the Direct. It should have been part of that reel of games where they featured it at the end. But yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts if you're watching this after the fact. In the comment section below about the Direct. I know I'm two days late on this. That's okay. I mean, we're really doing this for ourselves when we're talking about these games, but I don't want to miss the opportunity of talking about it with you guys, both here in the stream, live, if you're a part of that, or in the comment section below. I will respond to the comments, and in celebration of the Trails games, I do have a top Trails game video coming out later this week, so make sure to keep that in mind, keep track of that. And I agree with Paul. Fire Emblem saved the Direct for him, and it did for me as well. Upgraded it from a C to a C+. Firehouses. Fire Emblem Three Houses. I mean, that was an awesome game. Might even be one of my top 10 Switch games. I mean, just the whole Persona aspect of it. You got Hot Byleth. She's amazing. Let me get my mind off of Hot Byleth. Yeah, fantastic game. Great series just overall. So I'm really excited to see what is coming. The characters look great as well. I mean, Alucard from Symphony of the Night, he looks good. I think his name's Dietrich. It's obviously not Alucard, but it looks so much like him. But yeah, so let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Always appreciate you guys. And we hope that you have a great day. Keep gaming, keep playing games, keep enjoying games, have fun with them. And